You are, everybody. Welcome back. Seems ages since I've done a video. Clues in the title, obviously it's a pickups video. Bit of a mixed bag of, there's a few different bits and pieces, but pretty much I'd say in the main they're all cracking games. So no matter what system you're into, there's some obscurities, but they're really generally they're all top drawer games. These, I've got to be honest. Well, at least they are to me anyway. Other people might think they're total crap, but to me they're top drawer games. It's all a matter of opinion, isn't it? Everybody's got one. Everybody's entitled to one, and it don't matter what anybody else's is, really. The only one that matters is your own. But it'd be boring if we all liked the same thing, wouldn't it? Anyway, I think I'll tell you what. We'll start with the oldest, I think, and this Spectrum we've got. And this first one is one I'd been looking at. This was off retrogames.co.uk website. I'm plugging the brand again. Yeah, I'd looked at this on the website a few times, and I'd even put it in my basket, and then found other stuff and had to take it out again. And then Russ, the mighty Retro Bear, picked this up. It's been a few weeks ago now, and it kind of reminded me. I thought there's still one on there. I'm going to get it. Excuse me, coughing. I've been very well this last week or so with a bloody cough. Yeah. Anyway, I've picked up the battle stations on the Spectrum, and I seem to remember Russ thought the bottom of his box was wrong because it was plain. Well, mine's the same, Russ, so I'm assuming this is how that should be. But it is in reasonably good condition. Got the manual and the 3 tapes, and the beauty with this one is the Ocean 1988 catalogue. I was more pleased with this than the game, to be honest. We've got Match Day 2 and Platoon, Grisor Rambo 3, Combat School, what a game, and Operation Wolf. That's on here actually. I'll put some footage up of these 3 games, all being well. Where Time Stood Still, Daley Thompson's Olympic Challenge, oh amazing. Guts, didn't have that one. Robocop, classic. Firefly I never had, and We Are the Champions, which I have got, I think, which is a collection of Super Sprint, Renegade, Rampage, IK Plus and Barbarian. All quality games really, to be honest. Live Ammo I never had, which is Great Escape, Top Gun, Green Beret, Rambo and Army Moves. Green Beret is good, but it's rock hard. Game set matches, all sports games. I have still got that. I mean, sports games ain't anything to shout about generally, are they? Magnificent 7, which again is a compilation. I think I might have that. These are good games. Head Over Heels, Cobra, Short Circuit, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, which I don't think I've ever played, Arkanoid, which is bloody amazing on the Spectrum, Whizball and The Great Escape. And then in the second half of the manual, you've got the Imagine titles. Target Renegade, what a game. And then even better than Arkanoid, Revenge of Doe, brilliant. And then we've got the Vindicator, which I've never played. The Awesome Salamander, which I've not played on the Spectrum. Victory Road, I seem to remember playing that back in the day. I've got a feeling it's either a Commando style game or it's like a sequel to Commando. I can't remember. Like Ikari Warriors and what is it? The sequel to Ikari Warriors. It's something like that anyway. And we've got Rastan, brilliant on the Spectrum and the Master System for that matter. Then Guerrilla War, which is on this pack. Typhoon again, which is on this pack. And then there's a Konami arcade collection, which I've never had or seen, I don't think. That's Jailbreak, which I'm sure I used to have. Green Beret, Ye Are Kung Fu, a classic. Nemesis I used to have. Shaolin's Road, remember that name but can't remember the game. Hyper Sports. I've also got Ping Pong, Mikey, and Comic Bakery, never heard of that. Oh yeah, and you've got a nice little checklist in the back. So I'm absolutely chuffed with that little brochure. So yeah, and it was really cheap on Retro Games. So brilliant little pack that was. Operation Wolf, really great conversion on the Spectrum. Typhoon's a vertical shooter, which was good, but obviously it's all the same colour, so it makes it damn hard. And then Guerrilla War, that's another kind of Commando, Ikari Warrior style game. Again, it was good, but seemed chuffing hard. And then the last Spectrum game we've picked up, this was a few weeks ago again. I've had some of these quite some time. But yeah, that was from Retro Games. I'll put a link in the description to Retro Games' website, or I'll put his website in the description. Go check him out if you haven't already. Brilliant shop, online store, an amazing channel on YouTube. I'm sure you're all aware. Brilliant lad, Jace. Anyway, this Spectrum game I picked up was the Pyramid. Now I've been after this for months and months, to be honest. Used to have this back in the day, and I completely forgot about it. And I just chanced upon one in Cash Converters of all places, but it was for the C64, and it reminded me that the game existed. And I'd looked online, and it was quite pricey on the Spectrum. And anyway, I was in Hidden Chest and just browsing the 8-bit section, and Dana happened to have it in. So the last time I was at Dana's shop, again, cracking shop, go check it out if you've not been there. I think he'll sell you stuff, you know, mail order if you want to, and I think he's setting up a website. But again, I'll try and put a link in the description to Hidden Chest Gaming, Dana's shop. But yeah, this is a cracking little game, to be honest. Little shooter where you've got to sort of kill the baddies on screen, and then when you've killed the set amount and there's a colour dynamic, you get a choice of which way to go at the bottom of the screen then. And I think you're going down the pyramid basically. Cracking little shooter. Reminds me of, it's quite similar to Jetpack really. But great little game, absolutely chuffed to have that back. Again, hopefully I've put some footage up. Right, I think, yeah, we'll stick with the older stuff I think for now. And we've picked up, I'm getting quite deep into the Famicom rabbit hole. I just love the coloured carts, they're amazing. So much more exciting than the NES carts, I think. So I've been buying a few lately, and I've found quite a few I'd like. But I'll just keep chipping away, you know, bit by bit. And the first one I've got to show you today is Rainbow Islands. Obviously, you've probably all played Rainbow Islands, the classic platformer, sequel to Bubble Bobble. But it's on a lovely blue cartridge, this one. Unfortunately, I've got a bit of Japanese writing on the top. I'm assuming they've probably been in a box at some point and they've just wrote the name of the game on the top. It won't come off, I've tried everything. I thought when I saw it was marker pen, I thought that'll fly off with some meths, but nothing will shift it. It's seriously permanent marker. But cracking little game, not a bad conversion at all, to be honest, on the Famicom. And then that one was off eBay. It wasn't much, I don't think. I can't remember. I bought, like I say, most of these I've had some time now. Just haven't had time to do many videos lately. Now this next one again was off Retro Games. I think I bought it at the same time as that Battle Stations actually. and it's Chack and Pop. I've never heard of this. It's a Taito cartridge. You know, again, I like the sort of I like the different manufacturers' carts, how they, you know, individualise them a bit. It's in nice condition, this one. As I said, I'd never heard of it. I mean, it's like an 80s single screen arcade game. I'll put some footage up, but it's, I don't know, I'm a bit torn on this one. In many ways it's really, really good, but then in other ways it's so annoying. It feels like it's so close to being brilliant, but it's limited by the way it controls for me. You basically control this little dude, and you've got to release a heart which is in a cage, and then that heart unlocks your route to the finish. But within the stage you've also got baddies which are straight out of Bubble Bobble. I don't know if this is before or after Bubble Bobble, but they're the same enemies. And they chase you around this maze and you can kill them with the bombs. Excuse me while I cough my guts up. But it's the way you move around the maze. You like stick to the wall or you stick to the ceiling, and when you're trying to negotiate getting around the maze up and down, trying to outrun the enemies, God, it gets frustrating the way, you know, because it's not just a simple left, right, up, down manoeuvre. You've got to attach yourself to the ceiling or the floor to move left and right. It's a shame, really. If it hadn't got that, I think, if it was more like a Pac-Man control, I think this would be bloody brilliant. It's still alright, but it's just frustrating. Right then, the last Famicom game we've got to show today is, now this is a belting cartridge. If you remember back a while ago, I picked up a Gradius purely for the box more than anything else, because the box was so amazing. This then did prompt a few people to say, well, have you seen this cart? Which I had, but I hadn't got round to buying it. But anyway, now I have, and it's an awesome cartridge, and it's Salamander. But as you can see, it's like a see-through green. Such a cool cartridge. Obviously you know what Salamander is. I'll put some footage up. I mean, this is bloody good, but God, it's hard. At least it is to me. But absolutely belting cartridge. I mean, just look at that. I love how you can see, you know, see through it and see the board underneath. Absolutely amazing. So, chuffed a bit with that one. That's Salamander. Right, where should we go now? I think, yeah, we'll do the, I've got two PS2 no, hang on, I've got one PS2. Yeah, we've got one PS2. Now I've seen, this is another one, since I've been on this shooter kick, I've wanted to try and get. And I've watched a couple of videos. In particular, I saw Daz playing it. And it looked amazing. And I thought, because strangely, I'd never had this in the past. And I've got to try and get it, but unfortunately it's a bit pricey. So I bided my time and eventually chanced upon one that was a fair bit cheaper than the going rate that I'd seen before on eBay. It was an eBay purchase, as was that Salamander on the Famicom. Anyway, I've picked up Gradius 5. Belting game this is. Looks stunning. Now I'm sure this is the one Treasure's got something to do with, isn't it? Anyway, I'll put some footage up. Absolutely brilliant game. It is complete. Unfortunately, it's the best of version, but that was a compromise I was willing to make, just to get the game. It's damn good. Again, it's quite difficult, but what a stunning game! I've got to say, it's a phenomenally good game. So if you're into your shooters and you haven't got that on your PS2, it is available, pal. What a great game! Absolutely chuffed to get that one in the collection. Then we'll stick with shooters actually. Now this is an imported Wii game. I wasn't aware of it, to be honest, until I started looking into shooters. I just happened to be looking at what shooters you can actually get on the Wii, if there were any, and there are a few. Most of which aren't available, pal. In fact, I don't know if there is one available, pal, off the top of my head. There could be, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, there's a few American. Actually, there is a PAL one. I've just thought of it because I want it on American. Anyway, this is a Japanese one, and I've bought the Milestone Shooting Collection. Now, unfortunately, this isn't cheap, but it's a collection of 5 different shooters. It didn't come out, pal. You can get. This is the second one. The first one came out in America, or North America, I should say. I think there's only 3 games on that. But they did this updated one in Japan, which is 5 games, the original 3 plus 2 more. And it is nice and complete. Obviously, you need like a modified Wii or an imported one to play it, the Wii's region locked. But I thought, just, I really fancied it, and so I chanced upon this one. Anyway, the games on it are Chaos Field, which is on the Dreamcast and the GameCube, and Redirgy, which again is on the Dreamcast and the GameCube. And then there's Karos, or Karos, don't know how you say it really, which is kind of, it's very similar looking to Redirgy. And then there's Il Velo, which again is similar looking to Redirgy. Very wicked, cel-shaded, cartoony graphics. I'll try and put the footage up of all 5 of these. And then you've got Redirgy Noah, which is another version of Redirgy, but where the others are like a Tarte vertical orientation, Redirgy Noah is more of a widescreen game, as you'll probably see in the footage. Chaos Field is more of a boss rush type, regular bullet hell shooter, where the others are more like a cartoony, cel-shaded look. So it's a great little collection, I've got to say. Obviously, you can play 2 Redirgy and Chaos Field on other systems. But as far as I'm aware, Karos and Il Velo, possibly, they're the only home versions on here. I seem to remember at the time when I bought it, reading up. I've got a feeling they're not available on anything else. So that kind of made it a really wanted to, must buy kind of game. So yeah, I'm absolutely chuffed to have that. Not for everybody probably, but hell of a great pickle. And another banger as far as I'm concerned. Right, I think we'll go this one first, I think. We've only got one Saturn today. Bit unusual for me lately, I've been picking up lots of Saturn. And this is courtesy of my good friend James at the Game Zone Bird Room. And kind chap that he is, he sent me Deep Fear on the Saturn. It's a lovely box, this. It's a repro if you haven't guessed. But it's absolutely beautiful box. Obviously this is an absolute fortune for the PAL version. Nice printed discs. 2 discs, yeah, 2 discs. But yeah, it's an absolute fortune for the PAL Saturn, because I think it was the last game ever released. It's 300 odd quid. And I had got this on Japanese Saturn after James's recommendation, to be honest. It's kind of like an underwater survival horror type game, but obviously the Japanese one's in Japanese, so it makes it a bit awkward. But now with the English version, it should be far more playable. So I'm really looking forward to having a go at this. Unfortunately, I haven't had time yet. But it looks a belting game, and it's well regarded, I believe. Hence the £300 price tag. So absolutely brilliant to have that. I'm sure if you're watching me, you know who James is at Game Zone Bird Room. But if you don't, check him out. He's got a great channel. There's loads of cool videos about all kinds of you know, emulation consoles and all sort of technical content, and you know, just loads of cool videos. So link in the description to the Game Zone Bird Room. Go check him out. But anyway, thanks James. Cheers mate. Really nice of you. I really appreciate that. Thanks mate. Right, next we'll go for PS3, and on a similar subject to thanking people, I've got to thank Dylan, Hyper Trigger X, for these, because I wasn't aware of this at all. Well, I was aware of the name, but I wasn't aware that it was on the PS3. And this came about. I think he told me about these after the video I put out when I got the Virtual On controller for the Saturn, to play Virtual On, because I'm a big fan of Virtual On, and Dylan had mentioned, are you aware of these, because they're a similar kind of thing but on the PS3, which is obviously a much newer console. And I didn't. So I've picked up 2 of these Gundam games, which are based on arcades, as I understand, from in Japan, Namco. Well, they're Bandai Namco on here. I'm assuming they're Namco arcade games. And we've got, now these are very similar. One's Extreme Versus, that one, yeah, and that's Extreme Versus Full Boost. And I didn't set out to buy 2, I was just going to buy 1. But I'd bought 1. These were both off eBay. I bought 1, which was, I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Full Boost, because this is the later one, I think. And then the guy couldn't find it, or he wouldn't send it anyway, so he refunded me. So then I chanced upon this one, I think it was, for a really cheap price. And then a few days later, I saw this one at a good price, so I've ended up with 2 of them. I'll just put footage up of the one, because they're very similar, but they're cracking games. They are, unfortunately, there's a lot of Japanese text, but the initial menu, you can tell, you know, it is in English, so you can select arcade mode, which that's good enough for me. That's all I want to play. I'm assuming there's some really in-depth mech, you know, story and adventure modes on it, but the arcade mode is all I'm going to play. And it is very, very similar to Virtual On. Obviously it looks a lot nicer, and you know, there seems to be a team dynamic. It's not one-on-one, there's like a team of, you know, you've got a computer ally, if you like, and you've got to take the other team down. But they're cracking games, and they're really not very much. They're less than a tenner. So absolutely chuffed to get them. Cheers Dylan, another top tip. You seem to give me a lot of tips, to be honest, Dylan. Now this one, we're sticking with the PS3, and I've wanted this for ages, but it's a Japanese exclusive, and it's not one you see very often. in the UK. You can import it from Japan, obviously, but you've then got, you know, the shipping costs and the import costs and, you know, customs and all that. So I've been waiting for one to come, you know, on UK eBay. And then it's also complicated by the fact there's like a best of cover and like the original full price cover, and I wanted the full price one. Now, obviously, if you've been watching the channel any length of time, you know I'm mad about arcade games in general and arcade races, which is why I fell out of love with, or one of the reasons I fell out of love with gaming during the 360 PS3 era, because there was so little of it. You know, the arcade was dead by that point, and there was just, it was all too in depth for me, too much messing about. I just want to play the game. But anyway, there is very few available, like, you know, with immediate, you know, arcade gameplay, without any crappy story modes. I ain't got time for that. I'm waffling on now anyway. Initial D. This obviously sort of Japanese street racing, and there are arcade versions of this in Japan. I'm not sure if this is based on an arcade game or it's a game on its own individual basis. I'm not sure anyway. Plays very arcadey, and again, if you've, it's got a lovely reversible cover as well, should you want to reverse it. If I did, some time ago, I picked up the PS1 version of this, and it was really hampered by the fact you couldn't bypass the story screens, and they went on for about 10 minutes before we got the game on. But I'm delighted to say this isn't the case with this. You can skip them straight away, get the game straight on. Now, I'd read reviews on this and watched videos saying it wasn't that great and it was a nightmare to play. But so far, to be honest, I found it quite good to play, and it's a really good game. Absolutely loving this. The footage I've put up doesn't look 100% because the reason is I was playing it on this PS3 here, which is connected to the CRT through SCART, so the display options are really downgraded to play it through a SCART lead rather than the HDMI, so that's why it don't look as good as it would through the HDMI. But absolutely belting game, chuffed to have it. Right, we're nearly there, you'll be delighted to hear, and we're going to finish off on the almighty Neo Geo. So, they're like buses. I couldn't tell you the last time, up until I bought the console, I couldn't tell you the last time I bought a Neo Geo game, but I don't know, it's probably the fact I'm looking more. But anyway, I've got 2 CD games and 2 cartridge games. And the first CD game I've got is a fairly, it's one of the cheapest you can buy, but I hadn't got it and I saw it and it was cheap, so I thought, right, I'm having it. And that's King of Fighters 95. You can get this on the Saturn as well, probably on the PlayStation, I'm not sure. It was the second King of Fighters game. That's the bloody door. Right, here we are, back again. Yeah, King of Fighters 95. So I had to pick it up, and it's even got the spine card, so absolutely lovely, nice condition, and it's even in the original, I don't know if you can see it there, Neo Geo CD games came in Neo Geo branded cases. Can you see it there? Fortunately, when you buy them now, they haven't always got them, but this one has, thankfully. Yeah, great game. I prefer the first one myself, but it's still a great game, as they all are, or mostly are. But you'll see anyway. You've probably played King of Fighters. Now this one, I hadn't played this for donkey's years. I used to have this on the AES when I first had my first AES, and I remembered it being good. It's a sports game. Now I don't generally buy sports games, but arcade ones I like, and I will buy and play them. And to be honest, all the sports games on the Neo Geo I've played have been some of my favourite sports games of all time. It just seems to do that really well to me. This game tends to be very expensive now, and I really dropped luck here. This was an eBay purchase, and I'd got I'd got a saved search, and this came up. Within a few minutes, I bought it straight away because it was ridiculously cheap. And it's Football Frenzy, and the eagle eyes eyed of you will notice it's also the English version as well, because vast majority of, or a good percentage of Neo CD games are Japanese, and the English ones tend to sell for a lot more money. Not that I'm that particularly that bothered, I'd have bought the Japanese one, but this was a giveaway price. I mustn't have realised what they'd got, because others I've looked at for the English one, they're 18-90 quid for this game. I didn't pay anything like that. There's no spine card, unfortunately, but it's in nice condition. This one, unfortunately, it hasn't got the Neo Geo case, but it's American football, if you hadn't already guessed. So this is one for the retro bear, possibly. I'll put some footage up, but it's a absolutely belting arcade American football game. I mean, I wouldn't play any other American football game, to be honest, except John Madden on the 3DO, because I've got a bit of nostalgia for that. But this is just like the other sports games on the Geo, in that it's so much fun to play. Very reminiscent of Baseball Stars. I've got a feeling it's the same commentator on here as Baseball Stars. It sounds the same guy to me. Or the same voice sample anyway. Cracking little game. Really amazing to play this after. I mustn't have played it for like, God, I don't know. Must be 20 years at least. Cracking game. Football Frenzy. Want to check out if you can emulate it somehow maybe. Right. The almighty AES. As you know, if you've watched the last episode, there are certain games which aren't on the multicart, which I would like to try and get, and that's going to be the focus of my purchases on it, hopefully in the months to come. But I chanced upon this again. I must have dropped lucky lately. I don't know. It was up for sale. Buy it now for a stupidly cheap price. So I had to pick it up, even though it's on the multicart. And that's Samurai Showdown, or Samurai Spirits in this case, because it's Japanese. It's in absolutely belting condition. There's almost not a mark on it. It's beautiful. And like I say, it's on the multicart, but I don't mind that because I've got lots of nostalgia for this. It's my favourite Samurai Showdown game. A lot of people say number 2 is the best, but I don't know. It's probably the nostalgia, but I always preferred this one. And like I say, it's in amazing condition, and the cart's it's unmarked really. It's in beautiful condition, and the manual's still in the baggie, and there's no damage to the plastic tray. It's just wonderful. So absolutely over the moon with that one. Brilliant. And the artwork on it as well. I mean, stunning. Chuffed with that one. And then the last one today, you'll be delighted to hear. Now this one is one that isn't on the multicart, and it's one of the, I think there were 5 that weren't on it that I was, really on my desperately wanted list, and this is one of them. Now, unfortunately, these 5 that are on my wanted list, none of them are cheap, but if I just get one every couple of months, maybe we can get there eventually. But I thought I'd be waiting a long time to get this one, to be honest, because it's certainly one of my favourite games on the Geo, and one of my favourite games of all time, to be honest. Again, it's another sports game. You might be thinking I'm going to show you Baseball Stars here because that's another one on the list, but I'm not. This is something else, and like I say, it does tend to be expensive. It's probably around the 300 mark for one of these, which, even though I love it, 300, it's a bit much, to be honest. So I was kind of reserving myself to the fact that I'm going to have to make do with the CD version, which I'd already got the CD version. But then again, this happened just like that Football Frenzy and Samurai Showdown. It was put on eBay, and my safe search went off. This one was on an auction though, with a make offer, and it started the auction at it was it was like 20 quid or 30 quid or something. But, it's never going to sell for that. So knowing that it fetches like 300, I thought I'm going to put an offer in here, and just put a cheeky offer in. You never know, he might accept it. And it is cart only, I will stress. So I thought, right, bang him the offer, we'll see how it goes, see if I can try and tie it up before it goes to auction. And lo and behold, he accepted the offer, and I've bought League Bowling. As you can see, I've put it in a box protector, which is absolutely fine for me. These mega expensive games, I'm more than happy to have them this way. I even quite like it, to be honest, because the AES cart is a nice looking item, I think, and you can store them, and it's got the, I know it's in Japanese, but if you're storing them sort of side on or something, you can still see what they are. And it's in fair condition, to be honest. And I've ended up, like I say, it's 300 quid for a complete one. And there's two versions. There's there's this sort of clamshell style box on the English language version, and then the Japanese one's like a pink cardboard box, which is the one I was hoping to get, really. This is the Japanese cart, obviously, and the box is the same colour as the sticker. But I'm absolutely delighted to have it this way. Oh, and I should have said, I didn't finish the story. Yeah, he accepted my offer. I think I ended up paying. I made him one offer. I think I offered him 60, and he came back with 70. I think it was, which I accepted. So I'm sure it was 70. So I've ended up buying it for 70 quid. I thought, absolute steal. And it's an epically good game. I mean, it's probably the most simple game you can sort of imagine on the Neo Geo. I think it's like 26 meg or something, which is one of the smallest carts. But it's just stunningly good to play. As you'll see in the footage, it's split screen. So I mean, you can play 2-player, which would be amazing. But you'd need another controller and a friend, and both of which I'm lacking. So it's just, it's amazing. You can pick it up and this is hardly going to be out of the machine in future. Next time you see a video, I would imagine this is going to be in there. It's stunningly good. It's amazing. Like I say, the Neo sports games are brilliant, and this is right near the top of the tree for me. It's a stunning game. It might not appeal to many bowling, but honestly, it is amazing. I love the game. So chuffed with that. And there we go. That's the end of that episode. I've waffled on far too long now. We're nearly half hour, I think. But thanks for watching. I hope you found some of that enjoyable. Like I say, they're all pretty much absolute bangers to me. So I'm absolutely chuffed with them. So thanks for watching anyway, and thanks to any new subscribers. It's been great to have you along. But let me know if you've got any thoughts. You know, drop me a comment down, and I'll always reply if when I see them. And we'll see you shortly, hopefully. Sayonara.